So last story of the day. This is a really important one. I think, at least for me. I think you guys probably feel the same way, but like we could probably do a main topic just on this. Maybe we will one day. But so Steam just announced they're going to be identifying what they are calling off-topic review bombs in the like user review sections, and they're going to be removing them from the review score. And how they're going to do this is they built a system that will identify when a large quantity of reviews are coming in, and they're going to alert the employees at Valve so they can check to see what the posts are about. And if those employees, see these reviews as review brigading, all the posts within a certain time frame are no longer going to count towards the game's store, as well as even like the actual real review posts that are made during that time as well. Because they're just going to like say, from 6 a.m. to, I don't know, 10 a.m. these reviews aren't going to count or whatever. The reviews are going to be untouched, so you can still read them, but they will not affect the game's overall score. You can opt out of this if you'd like. So like on your personal account, like they can still be included, but everyone's opted in right off the bat. So like you have to think like how many people even know about this, and even if you do, I'm sure there's a percentage of people that aren't going to opt out anyway, just if they forget or whatever. So like I guess my first question is like how long until like you can't opt out of this? I just see a ton of problems here, but I'll let you guys start and maybe come back in at the back end of this conversation. But it's just something that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I see it as like a silencing customers censorship issue, which I'm never a fan of.
Right. I mean, the criteria, it'd really have to be fleshed out, I feel like, to make this a positive thing overall. Granted, I don't see what trolley brigading reviews are doing to help, any game or the gaming community at all in the first place. But how you're going to screen and censor out certain reviews for not counting, things like that, I don't. It seems ridiculous. It seems impossible. There's no way that this can be effective. If you're even knocking off one good game review in that X hour amount window where everybody was being a troll for like the first 3 days after the game release because it sucked, they just discredit all the reviews. I don't know. And then another thing that we kind of throw back to, like the release date of a game and how these games aren't static anymore, that they improve over time. So in most cases, different patches, things like that, it could really affect, a game's score in the long run as well. If you discredit, you remove, censor all these initial reviews of a shitty game, and, a few patches roll out later, you didn't have the first 1,000 people that actually bought and played the game when it came out tell you what it was actually all about. And honestly, I personally don't want to support games that are released in this kind of a format. This is a really extreme example. It may not happen with all of them, but just something to think about, something scary. I don't want to endorse this poorly released game just because people think that there's troll reviews on there by the Valve employees that are all knowing can somehow moderate this whole ordeal.
Yeah, I agree with you, Wolf. I think it's concerning to realize that they're taking these steps. It seems silly to me. I think that the gaming community in the past has always been like, there's always been trolls, you know what I mean? And we're pretty good at picking out the trolly shit and realizing that it's trolly shit.
Exactly, yeah.
It's been here since, video games have been around, even, before all these new ways to communicate with each other and stuff. Just like on like game facts, there used to be reviews of games and stuff. People would leave trolly ass shit on that, like in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
early 2000s. It's always been a thing, and I think that it's just like, let the people decide if they're gonna, if they're gonna, they can make the judgment to realize like, oh, somebody bombed this game with a bunch of bad reviews. You know what I mean? Like, let that be up to the person rather than them controlling it. It just doesn't seem right to me. And I think Matt is correct. This is like this always seems like the first steps towards greater censorship.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like, I mean, it's so open for abuse, right? Like, at
Mhm.
what point is a publisher just gonna say, well, hey, Valve, like, we think, like, we're getting review brigaded right now because, like, our game reviews suck. It's not that our game's shit, and it's not that, like, the DLC that we just released is garbage. It's just that, like, everybody else is really stupid and trolling us. Um, and that's definitely gonna happen. I don't even think that that's, like, an if. Like, that's just a when.
For
You know,
sure.
maybe it's on day one, or maybe it's 8 years from now. I don't know, but it's gonna happen eventually. And the thing is, like, the users aren't gonna know when it's happening. I think it's a preposterous idea. I think it's garbage. I mean, Steam was supposed to be this platform where, like, it was super user friendly, and, you know, there was a battle with the Epic Game Store, and, like, you know, the Epic Game Store was developer friendly and everybody hated them, right? Steam was pro user. Well, not anymore. Now they both
Yeah.
suck equally. I don't know, like, aren't
Hmm.
aren't we censored, and isn't everything censored enough already? Like, can't we, like, at least have, like, fucking gaming reviews left intact by the user? Like, does it have to be every semblance of every thought that everyone
Yeah.
has anywhere on the internet that has to be looked at by somebody now? It's ridiculous. I
Yeah,
can't stand it.
that's the main thing with me too, Matt. Is like, and that's why I brought up that this has been going on. We've been dealing with trolls ever since we started playing video games, especially multiplayer video games. And this was like the last bastion where, like, it was just free flow of people's opinions and that uncensored, you know. And I feel like, I'll say it again. This seems like the first steps to just greater and greater censorship.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, like, whether, you know, Valve probably doesn't think of it that way, but, like, that's just the way that it goes. It just, like, evolves into that. And I mean, like, not every social media platform or online community, like, has to police itself all the time. I don't know, like, who they think they are, that, like, I mean, yeah, you have the platform, like, you can do whatever you want, I guess. Like, you know, as users, like, we don't have the right to just say whatever. Like, it is their platform, but, like, don't they have a responsibility to the consumer to not do this? I don't know, like, I feel like it opens up an avenue for a third party to come out and say, like, okay, well, we're gonna have our own user review site, and, like, come use this, and you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Or at least I would hope somebody would.
Well, we can only
Yeah.
hope it comes to that if people are gonna censor shit. That's the only thing that can really like combat it, right?
I,
To
I
have
s-
some new third party thing that is the only thing is it's hard to establish that from nothing.
it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
That's the biggest issue. But
I
it
mean,
would be great
if
if it would be able to happen, for sure.
it gets restricted enough, it will happen. If somebody can make money off of making a platform for open reviews with no restrictions, then it's bound to happen.
You
Yeah.
know, you say that, and I wish it were were more true, because when I see things like this, especially when that Epic Game Store was coming out, I feel like we get all of this, like, fake outrage over these things. Like, I couldn't tell you how many Twitter, you know, responses and things to, like, the Epic Store, like, how much hate people seem to have. But it was only like 4 or 5, like, posts, but they were upvoted to, like, some extreme level, like, where people were so pissed off that the Epic Store even thought it was gonna be a thing, and they're like, "We hate
Yeah.
it. Steam's the only thing. You can't do this. Like, this is ridiculous." Like, I feel like that's the kinda, like, we're already seeing a level of censorship here that is kinda gonna be unavoidable, and it's gonna be really, really difficult to discern going forward. You know, like, are we hearing of the vocal minority as opposed to, like, everyone's actual thoughts on this?
Well, and part of the problem too is like a lot of people, as far as reviews go, like if you have something negative to say, people really want to say it. You know what I mean? They really want to let their thoughts be heard. But like if you're having a really good time and having fun, you're just gonna keep playing the game and not really worry about reviews as much. You know what I mean? Like people are more inclined to post something negative and get it off their chest than to post something positive
Yeah.
and get it off their chest.
Yep,
It's true.
I agree with you. There's different
Nature.
types of how people go about their reviews. The one thing that I've noticed though is if I really like a game, I get this huge feeling like I want to give back to the developers in some way. And if it's just like, you know, putting in a review or whatever, then I will do that. And, you know, that's a way of rewarding them, you know. And if we're censoring this shit, and then it's not going to be a proper way to reward and to it's our mouthpiece in a way too, you know, in this community is to be able to leave reviews and say what we want to say, you know. It
Oh yeah, it's just sad. I feel like it was like the one avenue that everybody had left to have, like you said, Ben, like a voice of how you feel about something. You know, I mean, like, yeah, so we have the streamers like we talked about, but like if they're gonna start getting like paid for promotional content all the time and stuff, like, okay,
Yeah.
well then like who do we have? Because like we don't have any of the games journalists, because like they just write like whatever the fuck they want, like they just write like whatever
self-serving
is the safest option for them to get in bed with the publisher, right? So like there's nobody left. It's like, I don't know. I mean, that's a really dark way to look at it, and like, yeah, I know it's just for the review bombs, and I get it. Like, this isn't like if you write something bad, they're gonna come knocking down your door, but like it's a slippery slope, and it's a scary first step, and it's like this didn't even need to happen. Like, were review bombs that big of a deal? Was it like such a pervasive issue that they had to do this? Like, what did it happen 5 times? I don't know.
Is it strange? This is off subject. Is it strange that this is happening after the Marvel?
No, because they actually quoted that, I think, like in their like reasoning for this. Yeah, I think. I think. I don't have it in front of me.
Are you referring to the Marvel what?
The Marvel movie. The new what's Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
You know, they were bombed. That supposedly all the view sites were bombed, and then this is. I mean,
Well, then they removed them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, because they were saying that everybody was saying the movie was great, the reviewers, but nobody liked the movie, kind of thing, or what?
Yeah. The actual reviewers were saying that it was good, and but the regular public was giving shitty ass.
Yeah,
like a bunch
one of those again.
Yeah.
Well, that's just. I mean, that I can see why Valve is going to do this. They want to protect the publishers, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that they keep coming back to Steam to sell their game.
Yeah, I think people just forget who breads their butter.
Who breads their butter? Yeah.
Who butters their bread?
Man, that's how like tired I am. I didn't even notice he said it. That's hilarious. Oh man.